My name is TJ. Today I'm here to talk about uh, my suicide and autism experience. Um, it all pretty much started when I was 17 years old, and it was a very a very difficult time. My I feel like no matter what I did, I was always doing something wrong in my life. My mom, she was always angry and yelling at me. And I feel like no matter what I did, it was never right. And, it was I was very dark and depressed. And, uh, and I just, and I feel like I was trying my best, but nobody could see that. So that went on for about 8, maybe 9 months. Then May 2015 was the first time I would try to end my life. And then uh, I tried to hang myself on the ceiling fan, and uh, I never told anyone about that. Uh, I never told anyone close to me anyway, and and it was I was I was uh, very depressed when that happened. I was angry at myself, at the world, and and then about about a year later, uh, around when Batman versus Superman came out, I would try again. I remember because it was March 26th, 2016. I remember that because it was the day after Batman versus Superman came out. And I remember me thinking that was the last thing I wanted to do was see that. Because I was so excited for it. I've been waiting for that movie for a long time. And and I remember I went to go see it with my friend Aaron and my brother Corey. And I was thinking that was probably going to be the last time that I saw them. And I had a good time that day. Uh, I liked the movie, but uh, I was satisfied. And then the next day after that would be the day that I would, after I saw it, would be the day that I would try to end my life for a second time. I tried cutting my wrist, and it was because my mom was yelling at me about cleaning my room, and for some reason, whenever I would try to clean my room or do anything she asked me, I could never get it right, to at least to her standards, and it was very frustrating for everybody, and and she just seemed to never understand that I was trying, and she just got angry, got angry with me and started threatening me and say, and it was, and so I remember I got up, got in, she had left somewhere that day. I don't remember where, but she had left somewhere, and I remember I got up, grabbed the kitchen knife, and went into the basement. My dog was down there. I hugged him, told him goodbye, and then I cut my wrist, and I don't know if you can see him, but see the cuts on my arm, but yeah, got him on this one too. See, know if y'all can see him, but I don't know if y'all can see him, but yeah, I tried to cut. I tried to end my life, cut my wrist, and it started. I mean, I didn't really know what was going to happen. Was I just going to black out? I wasn't really sure. I just heard that cutting your wrist, you can die by cutting your wrist, and I was just very upset by that, and I didn't really know what else to do. So I guess it was taking longer than I thought it would. So I started cutting more and more, and I had sent, I had texted my mom before and basically said I couldn't deal with this anymore. And basically, I guess you could say that that was my suicide note, I guess. And I didn't tell her in the text that I was going to kill myself. I just said I just couldn't do it anymore. And she got home and she saw that I had blood on my arms and shirt. And it was, she was upset. And she she called my dad and she wanted to take me to the hospital, but my dad said no. So I never ended up going into the hospital for it. But it was, she was scared, I guess. Just, and over the years, it just always felt like she just didn't ever seem to understand what been going through. And she would just, I would tell her that I'm trying, and she just didn't care. And I tried to do it a couple more times after that, cutting my wrists, and at least those were the times I tried cutting my wrist, but it never worked. But I, uh, yeah, whenever eventually it just kind of got to the point where if I would bring up my feelings to her, she would get angry and get upset, and basically it almost seemed like she just didn't want to deal with it anymore. Sometimes it seemed like she just pretended it didn't even exist. And I remember one time, my cousin Brianna, I learned from my mom that she was having uh, issues with depression. And I remember my mom came up and asked me, could you talk to her and maybe tell her how you got through it? And I was kind of dumbfounded because I thought it was pretty obvious that I still was going through it, I guess. And it just almost felt like she just kind of would just forget that it ever happened and that I'm not feeling that way anymore. And she just, and I remember one time she told me that I kind of confronted her about it since a lot of times she would act like she just didn't care. And she told me, well, I got all these other problems. I don't have time to care about yours. And that, that hurt me. And that hurt me a lot. And that hurt me a lot. And eventually I just started bringing it up to her because I just kind of figured I would get the same response from her. And yeah, if I, around this time, a little bit, my first year feeling suicidal and depressed, I found out about the suicide hotline. And almost whenever I called them, she would get angry. She just would get upset with me and say, you're always calling them and all this other stuff. And was, I just, I just want her to, I guess, to understand and care and not get angry with me for feeling depressed or sad and, but she just, some reason, just couldn't do it. Or whether she couldn't or she just didn't want to, I don't know. But uh, eventually I would go live with my dad, which is where I am now. It was many reasons why I ended up here, but that was one of the main ones. But when it's like if I'm over there and I call the hotline or get up or say I'm upset, she would say threaten to send me back to my dad. It's like, she just doesn't want to deal with it. And uh, I've always I've always thought about telling friends, but I've always been very afraid of what they might think, and they might look at me different. I don't really have a lot of friends. I got like maybe I guess a few friends. I got Aaron, Serge, Ken, Billy, I guess. Uh, and Aaron and Serge are kind of, I guess, my best friends. And I've always been afraid that they might look at me different if I told them. And uh, sometimes I won't say like if if I'm in, like, sometimes we will play video games together, and sometimes we will be in the party chat, and sometimes a lot of times I'll go a long time without saying anything, and you know, and sometimes it don't necessarily hurt my feelings when they say it, but I just wish I could explain to them why. So they kind of like, I guess, I don't want to say make fun of me, but just kind of pointing out a lot, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, I guess. So fast forward to last year, I found out I was autistic. My dad came up to me and presented to me with the possibility that might be autistic. And then we went to the doctor, and it turned out to be I was diagnosed with autism. And for those who don't know what that is, um, autism is, I mean, it's a it's different for some people. And for some people, it's different. For one person, might be this way, another person might be that way. But I guess the general thing is uh, it's hard for me to communicate with people, and it's hard for me to have have I guess have I guess a social life, and it's hard for me to be um it's hard for me to I don't understand social situations. I don't it's hard for me to tell when someone's joking or not. Like if I know you, like if Aaron, Serge, or Ken said something, I can usually tell if it's a joke or not. But if some random person was to say something, it would be hard to tell whether or not they're joking or not. And uh, so it was when we are in the when we're in the parties. It's like I said, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't want to give off that impression, but it just like sometimes they call me the silent assassin. Yeah, personally, I think thought that was kind of funny, but and I just wish I was able to explain to them why, but yeah, I've never been able to. But yeah, another thing I have a hard time paying attention to detail. So if I'm cleaning my room or something, um, I may not notice maybe some crumbs on the floor, some dirt on the floor, and it just me discovering that I had autism just made a lot of things in my life so much clearer, and it just helped me understand why. Um, I never told her about it. I think my dad told her that I had autism. I think he did, and I'm not sure she fully understands it. And uh, so, yeah, me having autism, gave me a hard time finding a job, and yeah, and I've been looking for a job for a while. I've had jobs here and there, but I usually wouldn't last long there. And uh, I was, with autism, it's hard for me to look at someone in the eye. So you might not notice I'm not looking at the camera a lot. And um, and yeah, uh, yeah, with autism, I tend to be a very calm person. And and I have a very high sensitivity to loud noises, and so when someone yells at me, I just get feeling of sadness, and I shut down. And that's also probably also what led to my depression and my anxiety, because I'm always afraid that someone is judging me or gonna get angry with me, and I just always feel a lot of times I just feel afraid, and I still have those thoughts of suicide, and it's uh, I haven't acted on it in a long time, but it does come here sometimes, and my dad was always more supportive than my mom was. He was always willing to listen and give me advice, and he was always more comforting and understanding. Uh, uh, I just I just don't like talking about this with my mom because she always has a very bad reaction. But uh, um, I've I know people who say that it's maybe a cliche thing to say, but if you are feeling depressed or down, suicidal, or feeling anxiety, just try to find some help. As cliche as that may sound, it does help. It does help. If I didn't have help, I been would have been long gone by now. And another thing with autism is uh, it's hard for me to show emotion. like his emotion in my voice and my facial uh what's it called, uh uh I guess in my tone of voice and my face. It was hard for me to show emotion. So I might feel a certain way, but it's just other people it might not seem that way. Um, yeah, and I just one of the things I just wish I knew about this when I was younger. I could have avoided a lot of problems and at least knew how to better deal with those problems. And I'm going to therapy and for my depression and autism and anxiety. So I'm definitely in a better place than I was a couple of years ago, but it's still there. I remember just a lot of times I would think about that. Maybe, maybe everything would just be better if I wasn't around, and nobody would have to worry about me anymore. And sometimes that thought still crosses my mind, but I'm just trying to work on it. And yeah, I I thought about yeah, yeah. Sometimes yeah, I get depressed. Uh, uh, yeah, sometimes I get depressed if uh, someone, you know, it's like someone's trying to show me how to do something, but they say it in an aggressive way, and I never really understood that about people. Like it's people yelling at you, and you say, "Why are you yelling at me?" Well, they say, "Yeah, I'm just trying to help you." Yeah, that's what my mom would say all the time. I'm just trying to help you. Well, yelling at me is not really helping me. You know, it's not really doing anything for me. But she just, I would even explain that to her. She just didn't care. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to get off my chest. Uh, but yeah, as I said earlier, if you feeling depressed or anxiety or just feeling down and just in general, just don't be afraid to reach out for help. I know it's a cliche thing to say, but it's the truth. But yeah, that is what the truth though.